Hi, and welcome to the School Health Educators Podcast, where we discuss health education and how to best teach health ed in the K through 12 setting. Hi, and welcome to the School Health Educators Podcast. I'm your host, Lori Reichel. Today, the guest is Drew Miller. Do you know that name, folks? He's already doing a dance. If you're able to watch us on the School Health Educators YouTube channel, he was just doing a little dance here, and he is a New York teacher. I don't know where he's from originally. So why don't I just
Ooh.
jump in and say, Drew, you want to say hi to our audience?
Hi. Yeah, of course. This is amazing. It's truly an honor to be on here after listening so much. I'm from Pennsylvania originally, so I'm not too far away.
Okay. And what's your background?
Yeah, so grew up in central Pennsylvania. I was very sporty as a young person, so my natural reaction was I want to keep doing track and field in college.
Mm.
I had a really strong health education teacher slash soccer coach, and he went to East Stroudsburg in Pennsylvania, which is where I ended up going, and I got my undergrad in health and PE. And then eventually my master's degree in sex education through Widener University.
Very good. And so do you still do track stuff? Like I like jogging a lot.
That's so funny you say that. I actually was a jumper, so I
Oh,
was they
okay.
like to think of us as like the leopards, like we're very slow. We'll get like short bursts of energy, and I did coach for like 15 years, but
Hmm.
as of last year, I am retired from coaching, so I'm taking some time for me in my older age, and it's been really nice to take a break.
Okay, your older age. I guess that means I'm ancient, huh?
Well, we're all getting older just a little bit, so.
Uh-huh. And I see, are
Mhm.
you wearing like a soccer jersey? Are you still like a soccer player?
This is from Zara.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. So, folks, Drew Miller, he's here because I asked him to chat a little bit about how to make the classroom environment comfortable. So, I'm going to get to those questions in a moment. And part of that is because I know some folks are teaching about human sexuality at this
Mm.
time of year. I'm not sure why we sometimes put this towards the end of a school year. Maybe it's because you've already established norms and the students are feeling more comfortable. Again, I'm going to push that usual thing of please teach content in a skill-based manner, maybe base it with communication skills. But I wanted to connect
Totally.
with Drew because I know that he creates a comfortable environment in his classroom. I've heard through the grapevine. Before you talk about that, would you mind explaining a little bit about why you first decided to become a health educator?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said in the intro, I definitely always saw myself as a PE teacher. I think I wanted to teach elementary ed, but in my student teaching at Stroudsburg, I got a high school health class and I really liked it, but again, was still thinking PE. But then every job after high school, or sorry, college, it was always health. And I was like, why do I keep getting these health jobs? It was like a middle school health job. And then I taught at Chambersburg in Pennsylvania, and it was a high school health job. And I was like, you know what? Like maybe I really like this. Like, and I think I'm good at it. I really like in health how it's so personal and you can really connect and really get to know the kids and kids share and they're curious because everything you talk about is stuff they are going through or they might try in the future or they're curious about. So I think ultimately I was just like, yeah, I really like this. Like this is fun. Like if I can do just this and get out of the gym, like I'm totally down for that. Like I'll go to the gym on my own. I don't need to be in one and do all these little sporty things. Nothing against our PE folks. We love you. We
Hmm.
need you. But yeah, it's where my heart's at. And especially sex ed. So much fun. So much silliness.
Hmm. And you set up a classroom environment for that. How do you do that?
Oh my gosh. I think that's so, it also feels like such a compliment for you to say that. So thank you. Yeah, I think if I'm really thinking about it, it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. And I think about me myself and how much I've just evolved as a human being. Like when I started teaching, I was in the closet, so I like wasn't fully authentically myself. And I think ultimately I think that is one of my biggest strengths now is that I can be 100% authentically myself, not just with my sexuality, but just like how I'm feeling throughout the day. Like if I'm having a bad day, I can tell the kids and just be like, you know
Mm,
what? I'm not feeling it and like and we can move on from that or at least like embrace it. So building it's cheesy, but like being yourself, I think, and ultimately building the trust and support of the young people and letting them know that you're on their side, right? You're there for them. You're not just assigning them marks and sending them on their way. Like having that true, genuine caring, I think is so special. And I think because of the way my job is set up, that allows me to like just teach health and a sex ed elective. Like I can focus my energy on just doing this. So there's a lot of privilege in that. Um, but yeah, I think it's just taken time. It's taken a lot of fails, a lot of experimenting. Like I remember as a young teacher, I felt like I had to be authoritative and like yell at kids and kick them out. Or just like I always had to be this like big, happy, bubbly self. So like when I stopped pretending to be someone that I'm not, I think that really helped a lot, if all of that makes sense.
I actually appreciate that you say, if you're having a yucky day, you actually tell them. Because I've done that recently in a graduate level course where I'm like, I just want to let you know, I'm not in the best of moods today. Um, and they saw it. I think it's important to be authentic.
The kids pick up on your BS, right? They would know if I'm trying to fake it. And I'm like very honest with my kids. Like I'll come
Mhm,
in and be like, guess what happened this weekend? Like my ex blew me off at this party we were at. And they're like, no. So like sharing and
mhm.
having a little bit of banter and like of course healthy boundaries, but just like I think the sharing piece is also super a part of building a classroom culture where we trust each other, we respect each other, and it's not perfect. Like
Hmm.
this semester feels good, especially without the cell phones. Thank God.
Thank goodness. Yes. I don't even allow them in my courses, like grad courses. I'm like,
Oh,
put them away, folks.
I would love to talk to you about that and like how you enforce that or like do all of that. But yeah, like I have bad semesters. I have or like rough semesters. I have rough classes where I don't feel like we always get there, but
Yeah.
I do my best.
If I can let you know that sometimes even those courses that you feel aren't your best,
Uh,
you are making an impact. And I know
you know,
this because
yeah.
I have students from 20 years ago that actually were connected through some kind of social media. And I was like, I don't think you are. So thank you for continuing doing what you're doing, Drew.
That's such a good reminder, and I do appreciate that. And you just don't, and that's the beautiful part about our work is that we don't know who we're reaching, who will reach out in
Yeah.
however many years, or who will never say anything. But we're doing good stuff. I believe
Yeah.
in the work we're doing.
Yes, definitely. Do you do like go over norms or expectations that are specific to the health education classroom?
We, in the beginning of the semester, so I teach a ninth grade health class,
Hmm.
and I also teach a senior elective, which is just sex ed. So in the beginning of the year, we talk about like what do kids need to be successful. So I have some general guidelines, and also I ask them to like critique them, like what do you like, what do you not like, what do you want to add. So we spend
Hmm.
like at least like a day or two like setting up these
Thank you.
norms and I try to hold themselves and myself accountable throughout the year
Hmm.
as best I can. But of course, they're young. Like we're figuring it out. Accountability is hard. Like sometimes I'm not paying attention. Um, it's very rarely ever like anything malicious. It's almost always just like keeping their focus,
Yeah.
right? And maybe that's part of how I teach, but it's just like okay, like we like shh, like we need to keep going. It's not like oh they're throwing things across the room or like trying to hurt people's feelings. I don't know. At least the population that I'm working with doesn't feel like that.
to me, setting up those expectations in the beginning and how you even said, like to provide something or and have them work in groups and critique and say, this
Yes.
is what we hope, because it is a group effort. It's not the teacher talking down. It's if we want to be successful in health education, it's I need you to tell me if we're doing an activity and you're like, Reichel, you're way off base here. We don't need this. This is what we need to focus on. Like if we're talking about refusal skills or something like
Yes.
that doesn't happen
Yes.
in our lives. This, like
Yes.
somebody passing out at a party, we don't know what to do. Thank you very much for your honesty. Let's process that. Um,
That's
so I
super. Yeah.
that connection is so important right from the beginning of the school year or semester.
And another thing I do that I think is really helpful is I let the kids know early on that we're going to talk about really uncomfortable stuff. Usually at least like one thing
Hmm.
per unit, whether it's like SA or like eating disorders or like mental health stuff with like self-harm, and just something as simple as like content warnings, like it's coming up day before, day
Hmm.
of, and allowing young people to take care of themselves in whatever way they need to, like
Right.
lets them feel really cared for. And there's trust in that as well, because kids aren't going to come out and say like, I'm struggling. It's like, okay, they're going to
Hmm.
go walk to the bathroom, they're going to go to the counselor, or maybe they talk to you after class. You just do everything you can to keep their little hearts and their little minds as safe as possible. We don't want to
Yeah.
traumatize them.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, do you have any other tips for just setting things up to be as comfortable as possible? You talked about, having the pre-announcement for some sensitive topics and then the norms slash expectations, being yourself. Is there anything else?
Um, No, I think just I would say just like especially for new teachers, just try to figure it out as best you can. Like I felt like I was struggling in underwater for years. I think it's great to observe other teachers as well. I'm like I would say like I was one of the best teachers in the country this year, but I'm like probably not even in the top 10 in my building. There's just like so much you can learn from what other people are doing, which is so inspiring. Um,
And I'm sorry, folks, if you didn't like he said it very quickly. I was going to say it at the beginning, and then because Drew didn't talk about being at Shape America, the conference recently, I was going to say it at the end. But Drew Miller is the Eastern Division Health Education Teacher of the Year for 2026. And do you want to do your Miss America little wave?
Yeah. Where is my crown? Where is it? Where's my trophy?
Congratulations on that. You were New York State in 2024.
24.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Had a good run. Oh my God, I love that conference so much. We already talked about it.
So congratulations again on your honor this year.
Very sweet of you. I don't know. I think all teachers need to be honored. I think we all need
I agree.
a little more praise. It felt really good. So I'm riding
Hmm.
that momentum. It's also cool for the kids to see as well. Like, okay, Miller, like he knows what he's doing. Like, congrats.
Hmm.
It's funny.
And a little side note, if you're looking for inspiration, please go to a conference. I know New York State
Yes.
AFERD, we are doing a strong conference, a lot of health ed sections for November 2026. So you can reach out to me to find out more, but I'm even going to be posting some stuff on social media to let you know we have a strong list of presenters, including
Hmm.
Drew. So
Hmm.
I'm excited about that.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. I'm super excited. It's gonna be the best.
Now, Drew, do you have one or two favorite lessons you want to tell us about regarding sexuality, human sexuality?
Oh my gosh. That's so I mean I gotta go to my favorite, which is the condom demo day. Like that is my absolute favorite day. We've built it up over the years so that kids are now like asking about it on the first day. They're like like when is it happening? So building that up is just so fun. And essentially we have a bunch of woodies. Each kid gets, and we have a ton of condoms from New York City because they have so many through the condom availability program. And the kids all just they practice a couple times, and then there's a checklist, which my
Very good.
friend Dr. Rachel Gibson made, and they assess each other, and we process it, and it's so much fun. There's the noise is insane because everyone's yelling, they're getting like the lube on their hands, like oh my God. Of course, some are like they're just like hitting each other with the woody. It's so funny. It brings a lot of joy and just like the innocence of our youth.
hmm
I look
and
forward
it's
to that too.
they think they're so mature until that activity, and then you really get to see, yeah, this is your authentic self here.
It's good. I
Is there
videotaped it this year and I watched it back and I was like, oh my gosh, like they did so well. Like it felt like
excellent,
total chaos in the moment, but like watching it from the outside, like, wow, they nailed it. They're stars.
excellent.
Mhm.
Is there another lesson you have too?
I tried something new this year, which was really fun. Um, I feel like the concept of healthy relationships can be such a large, kind of overwhelming. Like, where do you even start? Like, sometimes it feels too elementary to be like respect. Um, so I was with my seniors, and I was like, how do I go about this? How do I bring up this, especially because they're going to college? So I went to all like 10 different teachers in our building, and I asked like, what piece of advice would you give to the seniors about healthy relationships? And I wrote it all down, and I put all their names, all the teachers' names on the board, and I read the quote. So one of them was like, "Don't get married," which was like a very very
Mm-hmm.
unserious one. And then the kids had to guess who said it. And I was like, "This is fun." Like they're like, I think this teacher did it." And then we talked about what the teacher said. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what does this mean to you? What does your generation think? How does this fit in your worldview of like a healthy relationship? How would you communicate this to a partner if this wasn't something you wanted? So as I'm sure you know, like we're always thinking of things on the fly. We're trying to be creative. We're trying to meet them where they're at. And it went really well. Like they left and like, okay, that was fun.
I'm so glad you talked about healthy relationships because something that I've noted, and what I've done is I'll ask them to like put in components of a healthy relationship, and they can do the old, this is a recipe, 10 ounces of
Yes,
compassion,
I've
and then
seen that.
and then I have them compared to a healthy relationship wheel. And a lot of
Mm,
people would think it would be a very dry lesson, yet students typically are like they wake up and they're like, because we don't talk honestly about these are components of healthy relationships. And you don't have to be perfect
yeah.
because it's just like if I say, so if you have a conflict, if you have a fight, is that a sign of an unhealthy relationship? And actually, that can bring you so much closer. It's about resolving conflicts together.
Amen.
And I find that topic they do want to talk about because I've even said to students, for homework, I want you to describe somebody who has a healthy romantic relationship that you know. And, come in. If you can't find somebody, I want you to describe that, in a paragraph. And you think about it, who do you know in a healthy relationship? We don't like children don't always see many healthy
Yeah.
relationships.
I feel like healthy relationships could be an entire course. I think
Oh
that's like
my
something I want to
goodness.
propose. Like you could spend an entire semester analyzing everything, discussing it, making this like, oh, there's not enough time.
Yeah.
Story of our lives.
hmm I will say I was trying to look it up when you brought up healthy relationships. There was a an instructor and a professor in I think it was in California. This is many many years ago, from the 70s or 80s, so before you were born. Um, but he had a course named Love, and
Oh,
the first semester he did it, it was filled. It had students. The next semester, 200 students, and then it was waiting lists, and it showed they just had these conversations about what is love. How do you know you love somebody?
oh.
How do you know you can trust somebody? Because that's something I know. I love asking the students, how long does it take for you to trust somebody?
So it's so beautiful as well to talk about love and all types of relationships. Um, and just to see I don't know. I think about them when I was their age. I'm like, oh, I feel like they're way ahead of me,
Yeah,
but I also just appreciate the difference in perspectives among generations. They're what, Gen Z, Gen Alpha at this point. I
I
I
think so.
love
Yeah.
the way their minds work.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And actually, there's even a thought, will they want to have romantic relationships? And, and it's a really interesting concept. So I'm glad that you're
Exactly.
teaching them and going over that stuff, Drew.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, I can talk to you for a very long time. I can, and I know a lot of our listeners listen in for about 20 minutes. So I'll ask you the last question, which is anything else that you would like to share with our listeners before we end for today?
Yeah. Well, first off, this was amazing. I'm really glad we got to connect. I truly could talk to you for hours. It's so refreshing to meet someone with like the same
Hmm.
passions as you. So thank you so much, Lori.
Thank you.
As for yeah, as for I don't know, I'll give some advice and then I'll give some like other stuff. Advice
Go.
is like get as involved as you can. Like conferences, I moved to New York and I got this health teaching job and I joined New York State AFERD and it just changed everything. Like seeing really rock star presenters and connecting and feeling confidence from other people telling me like, "Hey, you do good stuff. Like you should present." It was life changing. Like it's
Hmm.
really transformed my confidence and how I teach. So really
Great.
get involved if you can. I know it's expensive and there's a lot of resources that make that hard, but even if you have to share a room with someone, or I don't know, carpool, there are ways to do it.
Hmm.
And if you, I guess, if you ever, anyone listening wants to connect with me, I'm on socials as at Miller Health Ed. I'm on X and Instagram and TikTok, so I do like to make it educational. Some of it gets political, a little psychological, all the deal. And I do have a podcast as well with my best friend, Dr. Rachel Gibson, who is another health ed rock star. It's called Sex Ed in the City. We post whenever we feel like it. So be on the lookout.
Excellent. Well, I thank you so much, Drew, for being here today. And again, congratulations on your honor.
Thanks,
I
Lori. It was
hope
great
that
to be
you
here.
I hope you take time just to reflect and allow that to resonate within you because that is an honor. And as you said, those of you listening in, you are of importance. Uh,
Mhm.
Everybody needs to be honored. And so, if we can somehow connect you in a way to honor you, that'd be really great.
Yeah.
Please do continue to listen to this podcast. Please follow it on your favorite podcast platform. Check out the School Health Educators website. It's schoolhealtheducators.org. There's a whole bunch of resources on there. And last but not least, thank you, thank you, thank you for what you're doing for children and youth. Children need us. They need life skills. They need updated, correct information. So thank you for doing what you're doing. Stay well, folks.
Bye, everyone.